The Team GO Rocket Takeover is back. Giovanni has returned with a brand new Shadow Legendary that we're gonna have to save. We've even got the release of a Shiny Shadow Legendary, which is having its own raid weekend this weekend. We've got brand new Shadow Pokemon. We're gonna run through all of them to see which ones are really worth your time. And right at the end, we're gonna look at the bonuses coinciding with some top tips and targets to really help you guys maximize this event as much as possible. This is the delightful days taken over. Let's get dates out of the way. The Delightful Days Taken Over event will start on Sunday at midnight, which is August the 11th, running all the way until Sunday, August 17th at midnight again. Which brings our attention to Giovanni. Giovanni has returned and has captured Shadow Giratina in its altered form. The only way to encounter Shadow Giratina all the way up until September 2nd is going to be through Giovanni. Giovanni can only be accessed if you have a black rocket radar, which is effectively a super rocket radar. At the start of this event, the Delightful Days Taken Over special research will go live. Once you go through the tasks and complete that special research, you'll be able to get a super rocket radar, and that is going to be the only way to encounter Shadow Giratina. The 100% CP at level 8 is going to be 830 CP, but in foggy and windy weather, the 100% CP is going to be 1368. But how good is Shadow Giratina? Let's look at its base stats. It has a max CP of 4164, which is very good, an attack value of 225, and as a shadow, that's pretty strong, a defense of 187, and a stamina of 284, so it does have some bulk on its side. The fast attacks it has access to is going to be Dragon Breath and Shadow Claw. For charge moves, it's going to have Ancient Power, Shadow Sneak, Dragon Claw, and Shadow Force, which is going to be a legacy move, which will require an Elite Charge TM. It's looking pretty positive now, but we're going to discuss in a little bit how good Shadow Giratina really is in the rankings in PvP as well as a raid attacker. Moving on to the bonuses for this Rocket event. Team GO Rocket will be appearing at Pokestops and balloons more frequently. I believe in the balloons is going to come around every 3 hours as opposed to every 6. Pokemon caught via 1-star and 3-star raids are going to have a wider attack variance, and especially for shadows, they've done this for PvP specifically. For the very first time in Pokemon Go, we can hatch Shiny Salandit, which is going to be making its debut only in 12-kilometer eggs. Guys, bear in mind that Salandit can only evolve into Salazzle if it is a female using 50 candy. However, for a Salandit to be female and to evolve, it only is a 5% chance when hatching from these eggs. So if you manage to hatch a Shiny Salandit that is a female to get that Shiny Salazzle, you would probably be like 1% in the world that actually had that Pokemon. And the last bonus, which is the biggest one, trainers can remove frustration using a charged TM. More than that, on the weekend of the 16th and the 17th, which is going to be Saturday and Sunday, Shadow Kyogre will be making its Shadow Raid debut, and it can be shiny at a 1 in 20 odds. What are the new Shadow Pokemon? It looks like we have a total of 4 coming into rotation. We have Shadow Staryu, Shadow Fletchling, Shadow Pikipek, as well as Shadow Grubbin. If we run through these very quickly, Shadow Staryu is going to go into Shadow Starmie. Unfortunately, not a very good shadow. However, if you do manage to get a high IV Staryu, bear in mind that Mega Starmie has been leaked, which could be coming to the game, so you could be able to purify this Pokemon to have that hundo. The next Pokemon we're going to focus on is going to be Shadow Fletchling going into Shadow Talonflame. Guys, I'm going to stop there. This Pokemon already in the Great League, specifically with Incinerate and Flame Charge, can get completely out of control. Because Shadow Talonflame will be coming into the Great League meta, it is definitely going to be an upgrade, specifically in the Great League. It pretty much blows out everything in its wake other than water-type Pokemon. With one Flame Charge charging up all your Incinerates, guys, this Pokemon could get completely out of control and just wipe the floor entirely. Next up, we have Shadow Grubbin going into Charjabug. I don't think Shadow Charjabug is going to be as good as the regular Charjabug, but Shadow Vikavolt as a bug-type attacker as well as an electric-type attacker is going to put in some serious work because that DPS is going to be increased by 20%. Next up is going to be Shadow Pikipek going into Shadow Toucanon. If you look at Toucanon's regular form in the flying type category, it's currently ranked about 43, but with that Shadow boost, I can almost guarantee you this is probably going to break into the top 30. So all of these Pokemon have some place somewhere. But let's get into those Shadow raids now. In 1-star raids, we have Shadow Bellsprout, Shadow Apom, Shadow Teddiursa, as well as Shadow Seedot. In 3-star raids, we have Shadow Girafarig, Shadow Absol, as well as Shadow Whirlipede. In field research, trainers are going to have to defeat either a Team Rocket Grunt for one mysterious component, or you're going to have to purify 3 Shadow Pokemon to get either a Charge TM or an Elite TM. You can use these Charge TMs to remove frustration. Now that I use the word collection, there will actually be a collection challenge, and we're going to have to complete that challenge to receive more XP and 1 Rocket Radar, which is pretty neat. Let's look at some top targets now to focus on in this event. If we look in those 1-star Shadow race to kick off, Shadow Bellsprout going into Shadow Victory Bell, it has been leaked similar to Starmie that Victory Bell will have a Mega form. So if you do manage to get a Bellsprout with high IVs, you could purify that Pokemon to get the Hundo and wait for the Mega, but I would definitely recommend looking at Shadow Turdursa going into Shadow Ursaluna. Guys, this Pokemon is an absolute truck. It hits extremely hard, especially in the ground type category. If we look at the 3-star raids, we're going to highlight Whirlipede for that Mega again, because Mega Venipede has been leaked into the game, so try and get yourself a good IV there. Shadow Absol, ever since it's got access to Brutal Swing, is actually, I think, just breaking into the top 10. So if you don't have any good dark type attackers, again, very glassy Pokemon, but it will hit pretty hard. But the big focus of this Shadow event, of course, is going to be that Shadow Kyogre, which we will cover in a separate video, like we said. But look at Shadow Giratina, guys. This Pokemon, specifically in PvP, I can assure you right now that in the Great League as well as in the Ultra League, specifically the Great League though, this Pokemon is going to shake the meta up entirely. I actually have a feeling this Pokemon will break into the top 10 as a Shadow, and because we're probably going to get a wider IV variance on the Shadow Giratina, it means that we could get the optimal stats for the Great League, which would be so impressive. Details and targets out of the way, but what are the tips and how can we really maximize this week of the Rocket Takeover? Tip number 1, catch every Shadow Pokemon you see. This is something I really wish someone told me very early on in my Pokemon Go journey of now over 5 years, to focus on Shadow Pokemon early. For some reason, I didn't understand them and I didn't really know how they worked. Guys, we told you that 20% increase on attack is going to prove incredibly fruitful. And if you look across every single category, especially in the raid attacking categories, electric, flying, rock, almost all of the Pokemon that are great raid attackers are Shadows, guys. You need to be going after Shadow Pokemon. The second thing is remember to remove frustration. The first thing I would recommend here is to make a frustration tag folder. Go into your menu, go into your Pokemon, go into tags, and create a tag that says frustration or remove frustration. I want you to put every single one of your Shadow Pokemon that you want to move frustration in this folder, so that when the event goes live, you then know and you're not going to get overwhelmed with thousands and thousands of Pokemon you need to go through in your bag. All you need to do, you can even type in your search bar @frustration. Those are all the Pokemon that will know frustration as a move, or you can even just type in Shadow. These are going to be all of your Shadow Pokemon that you can tag to put in that frustration folder. And if you guys want to learn how to remove frustration, go to your Charge TMs in your menu, click on that, go to the certain Pokemon that you want to remove frustration from, and you will see that the option will be available to remove frustration to learn one of its charge moves, but still keeping its Shadow form. This is going to be a huge help for you in your Pokemon Go journey. If you guys want to know everything that's going on in Pokemon Go this week, all you really need to know, please check it on my end screen right now. These videos you're really loving, and it's informing everyone of what's going on in this week specifically. Guys, go with us. That is Rocket Takeover. Please smash that like and subscribe button. It's the best way to tell YouTube that you want to see more of our content. Go with us. We know you love the